I think in broad terms, my proudest moments are when I feel like I'm contributing something to the team that no one else has, and that when I bring a perspective, or, I pause in a conversation and I insert a little bit of wisdom that I feel really sinks in and changes the course of the discussion. I feel like that's always validating when you feel like your particular brand of practice is having an impact. So I think like that always makes me proud when I feel like I belong, and I've added to the team instead of just taking from it. I think in a more specific way, there's so many little proud moments that kind of feed you along your career. Um, but I would say that uh, for me, all of the ones that I truly remember, like we're all highly achieved, like we've all achieved highly academically. That's how we get to where we were going. So I've let go of a lot of those kinds of things that can feed you in the early stages, and kind of climbing and reaching and titles and things like that. I think for me, what brings me most pride is when I have a team member who puts their family member in my hands, and they feel, like they've chosen me, and they feel like they've seen my work in intimately, and they trust me. And that always brings me incredible pride. So anything, if a nurse or a physician or someone is like, hey, could you see my friend, or could you see my son, or could you see my mother? That tells me that the people who are close to me um, appreciate my work and appreciate the quality of my work. That always gets me. And I think also in education is what feeds me a lot as well. So I think, like if you impact a learner, or you mentor someone, especially through tough times when they might be thinking about leaving medicine, or leaving their chosen residency or something like that, and you have an impact there. I feel like that also feeds me a lot. I think in the care of, specifically in the care of patients. I feel rewarded. Like it's very rewarding, but I've tried to not kind of feed my ego through that. I think it's very easy to believe the good stuff, but then if you believe all the good stuff, you have to believe the bad stuff. And so, when I take care of patients, I do my absolute best, and I always appreciate if they appreciate how well I took care of them. But I try not to let those things feed my ego, and I try to remain humble in that sphere as much as possible. Keep a level head, and kind of accept that sometimes I'll do great, and sometimes I won't, and sometimes I'll fall short, but that I'm always trying to do my very best is I guess where I get my pride, but I try not to be prideful about it.